How did you get involved in this? How did what was the problem you were trying to solve? How did this vision come to you?
Since the Second World War, the housing market was really divided into two areas. The policy framework for housing was unbridled Victorian capitalism of the open market on the one hand, and then this very state-centric, highly regulated, very protected social public housing market on the other. Rightly so, by the way, that it was so heavily regulated. The principle had always been that somehow, if you were a young professional, you could always buy yourself a small studio one-bedroom flat.
Built by this unbridled capitalistic market.
Yes, in a not very nice area. And then you would trade that for a slightly bigger one-bedroom flat. And then after 4 years, you might trade that for a two-bedroom flat. And so the pattern of home ownership, firstly, culturally was very ingrained. But secondly, it became entirely endemic in the system that you were trading housing equity up the ladder. The question that I asked myself 12 years ago was, if you can't buy that first small flat to trade up from, well, how do you get up the ladder? Because the first rung is gone.
So give us an idea of now, what if you were trying to buy an unbridled capitalistic first flat right now, let's say in this neighbourhood, what would it go for?
So the average first-time buyer flat in London today is £350,000. The area that you're in today, the average one-bedroom flat is £450,000. The mean income of Londoners is just over £33,500. So patently, the average Londoner cannot access the average first-time buyer flat. You're talking about 10 times household incomes, just not possible.
Right.
So we started from first principles. We had a space standard, a design code in London whereby a one-bedroom new-built home always had to be 49 square metres. Well, wherever I looked in London, I couldn't make 49 square metres remotely affordable to my average Londoners. So we worked on what we could reduce that floor plate to before it became dysfunctional. And we set ourselves some very clear design criteria. So it needed to be able to accommodate a full-size, king-size bed, a large sofa for four, a proper dining table, proper storage, great fenestration. What was that? And we came up with a module of 38 square meters. But could we render that, and that, by the way, was 20% smaller than 49 square meters at 38, would it be 20% cheaper? Well, no, it wasn't going to be 20% cheaper because we had more bathrooms to build, more kitchens to build. So we needed some other gains. So what were the other gains that we could get? And the gains that we got were really planning-led. So normally on these schemes, the city planners would like us to build car parking spaces on the ground floor. And we said, hey, you know what? We can sell that land for more value by building flats. We're going to be car-free. We then said, we cannot give you large 2- and 3-bedroom flats. So, Mr. and Mrs. Policy, forget about unit mix. These are just going to be high-density developments of compact 1-bedroom flats because the margin on those is much higher than on 2- and 3-bedroom large flats. And if we do too many of the 2- and 3-bedroom flats, we lose our ability to discount these units. And you know what was really interesting? When we looked at the cohort of 20 to 39-year-olds that we're building for, and we asked ourselves, at that price point, how many people can afford to engage with home ownership in London? The number went up to 50%. So this was dynamite, because at the moment in London, without help from parents and the government, only 12% of that group of 20 to 39-year-olds can buy in the open market.
Mm-hmm. Tell us some of the more challenging times that you had with local councils getting this through. Surely not every conversation was immediately obvious to them that they wanted to do this.
And actually that was the big mistake I made. I mean, I made one big mistake mentally. I thought that if you would go to councils and say, here's a plot of land on which you're not going to get any much affordable housing, and we're not going to build 25, 30, 40 of these compact homes for people who, within your policies, you're not even prioritizing, and it's not costing you any subsidy. And we're going to link this to an income test whereby you can only buy these homes if you earn less than a certain amount, which is set by the Mayor of London, and when you sell, you need to sell it to people also on an income restriction. I thought the red carpets would come out.
Now, you also have something about your construction which makes it easier for them to say yes, right? It's not quite as painful as it would be to sit through an open hole for 6 years.
Well, and I'm glad that you asked that question, because in a sense, we came to modular construction, which is what this is. This is volumetric steel cage, built in a factory, craned on site. We came, really to it via the back door. The thing that drove us towards modular construction was construction prices in the ordinary sector in London just spiraling out of control and not even being able to find contractors. So we needed a new supply chain. And to us, factory built with, of course, a concept-driven model like a pocket flat, which is the same thing wherever we build it, it lends itself very, very well to industrialization. So that's why we started it. When we then did the consultation around infilling on a council estate, we pretty quickly realized that modular was an amazing asset with which to try and glue that consultation process. Because we could say to people, look, we're going to be building alongside your living room almost, but we're going to do modular, which will be dust-free. It'll be on and off the site before you know it. It'll be quick. At the moment, there is no cost benefit to me of using modular. It's programmatic. Now, that's very valuable. My politicians get to cut ribbons faster than any other development in London, and politics matter. But there are no financial benefits yet. I'm hoping that we will get to the point at which those financial benefits will come through as well. But that will take at least 5 to 7 years.
I think one of the more exciting things about thinking about modular is that it feels like it's completely the right answer in many developing world cities. So in some sense, it's going to be interesting to see whether or not the pocket model can be exported to Delhi, to Lagos.
And that's actually perhaps a really good point on which to conclude, because what I've learned from the numerous city leaders, mayors from world cities, but also from developing countries, is that the crisis of the middle is not just one of the Western world. It's going on in Asia, it's going on in Africa, and we're going to have to get our heads around how to build for those markets as well. So do I think there is something in what we do here at Pocket? Well, that travels? Absolutely.